What's up, everyone? We're going to be going through the best NBA player props on PrizePicks today. So let's get into the first pick, because the first pick we're talking about is none other than Grayson Allen. So as you all know, Grayson Allen, great player for none other than actually the Phoenix Suns. And this one is a fantastic one that is a combo for 6.5 rebounds and assists. And this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Grayson Allen, we actually have seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one definitely has been an interesting time for Grayson Allen because he has gone on the under quite consistently. November 14th faced off against Indiana Pacers, actually had 3 rebounds and assists there. November 30th faced off against Denver, had 4 rebounds and assists. December 6th faced off against Houston Rockets, had 2 rebounds and assists. Then December 9th faced off against Minnesota, had 7 rebounds and assists. And then December 11th faced off against Oklahoma City Thunder and had 5 rebounds and assists there. So it definitely has been a pretty interesting time for none other than Grayson Allen and the Phoenix Suns. He has definitely struggled quite a bit over the last 5 games, and his average over the last 5 is also 4.2. So definitely, pretty interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, we do actually know that Phoenix Suns have themselves a very good matchup against none other than the Los Angeles Lakers. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game there. Now, looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with actually Phoenix Suns, we have seen Phoenix do a great job so far this season because they come in at the 7th spot in the Western Conference. They have a record of actually 14 wins and 11 losses. That's a 56% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 8-4 from home, 6-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very interesting to see there. Now, when it comes to them, Phoenix Suns, they face off against the LA Lakers, who do rank a little bit higher, but also a very highly ranked team, where the Lakers come in at the 5th spot in the Western Conference. Now, they actually have a record of 17 wins and 7 losses. That's a 70.8% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are 7-4 from home, 10-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very interesting to see there. Now, coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one between both of these teams, as both have definitely faced off again in the past. But looking at this matchup, we do know, starting off with actually Phoenix Suns and the Lakers matchup, looking at where Lakers do rank defensively, focusing on rebounds and assists, we do see that Los Angeles Lakers do rank when it comes to assists allowed. They do actually rank pretty decent, I would say, as they do actually come in at the actual 23rd spot. So nothing really too crazy. I would say decent in that sense. And when it comes to rebounds allowed, they do actually rank a little bit better, as they rank 2nd. So pretty interesting to see. Overall, they do rank decent in both those categories. Now, assists obviously push them down quite a lot, but rebounds definitely push them up quite a bit for sure. Now, coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this one. But we do also see, when it comes to Grayson Allen and Phoenix in the matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers, a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here is that when we actually look at the Los Angeles Lakers, we do see that they do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds and assists to, Grayson Allen's position. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the under for someone like Grayson Allen coming into this game. He has definitely played very well for sure over the last couple of games, but what we also have seen from Grayson Allen and also Phoenix is that they face off against a Lakers team who do a great job against guards, and Grayson Allen's usage rate as well has definitely been very poor. Now, this is definitely just due to the fact that Grayson Allen's game style, play style, and also the way Phoenix like to actually use Grayson Allen, it definitely leaned more towards him just focusing on scoring and not really much on rebounds and assists. And it definitely has, I would say, kind of been evident in the last 5 games, the fact that he has really struggled to go on the over on this line. And even the time he had gone on the over, he only made it over by 0.5. So nothing really too convincing to us there. Now, coming into this next matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation for someone like Grayson Allen here. So I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Grayson Allen coming into this game. I see a lot of value there to go on the under, especially with the way Grayson has been playing so far. So definitely keep an eye out for Grayson Allen coming into this next matchup. It is definitely going to be an exciting one, and I do believe Grayson Allen will be able, to do very well for sure. So Grayson Allen, 6.5 rebounds and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, before we get into the next pick, I also did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group. And as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now, a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. We only got one pick wrong, got 21 right, which is a 98% win rate. Yes, guys, you heard that right. 98% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 98% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets to receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure you join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $1,403 just yesterday, and another member who won $1,034 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Now, getting into the next player, we're actually going to be talking about another fantastic player, and that is none other than Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson, as we all know, has definitely done a fantastic job for his team. Now, New Orleans Pelicans have struggled quite a bit, but we do like this one for 5.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Zion Williamson, we have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, this one's an interesting one because we have seen Zion actually not only go on the under in 3 out of the last 5, but we do see November 20th faced off against the Denver Nuggets, actually had 6 rebounds in that matchup. November 22nd faced off against Dallas, had 3 rebounds there. November 25th faced off against the Chicago Bulls, had 1 rebound in that matchup. Then November 27th faced off against the Memphis Grizzlies, which is a very good team, and he had 5 rebounds in that matchup, and then 7 rebounds against the Golden State Warriors on November 30th. So it definitely has been interesting for Zion Williamson. Now, when it comes to Zion and the New Orleans Pelicans, they do have themselves a very good matchup against Chicago Bulls. So it is definitely going to be an exciting game between both of these teams, but looking at where both of these teams do rank, starting off with New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans actually come in at the 15th spot when it comes to the Western Conference. They actually have a record of 4 wins and 22 losses. So they've actually done a great job there. They have a 15.4% win percentage as well, and on top of that, they are 3-12 from home, 1-10 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see there. Now, when we look at someone like Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans, they have themselves a matchup against Chicago, where Chicago are in the Eastern Conference, and Eastern Conference has definitely been, quite an exciting season. But for Chicago Bulls, they actually have been a little bit of a disappointment since they did start off the season very well, but they have fallen all the way to the 11th spot in the Eastern Conference, unfortunately. Now, they actually have a record of 10 wins and 14 losses, which is interesting to see. They have a 41.7% win percentage there. They're also 6-5 from home, 4-9 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So very interesting to see from this team, Chicago Bulls. They definitely have struggled quite a little bit, but we do like the under for this situation, however, for Zion Williamson. Now, Zion has averaged over the last 5 only 4.4 as well. So that's definitely something to be, evident about for sure. But looking at Chicago Bulls and where they do rank defensively when it comes to this category, we do see Chicago Bulls come in at the 25th spot when it comes to rebounds allowed. So why do we like the under for this situation here? And a big reason being is that when we actually look at it, we do also see from a per position basis, we see a very different story. And that is due to the fact that when it comes to Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans, they face against a Chicago Bulls team that do a great job at restricting rebounds to the forward position. So we definitely see someone like Zion Williamson going on the under here. Now, looking at someone like Zion, what we also have seen when it comes to this matchup between both of these teams, we also do know that, not only do Chicago do a great job at restricting rebounds to the forward position, But what we have seen with Chicago is that they do a fantastic job at actually, honing in, focusing on star players of other teams and trying to restrict them as much as possible in any sort of category, whether that's points, rebounds, or assists. Now, it hasn't really paid dividends as Chicago do rank pretty low, but it definitely has been their strategy defensively over the last couple of games, and we are expecting a similar sort of strategy coming into this next game for sure. Now, when we look at Zion Williamson, yes, he has had some games where he's gone on the over. Now, he did have one against Denver, but he did only just make it over by 0.5, and on top of that, against the Golden State Warriors, also had or made it over by 1.5 there as well. So it definitely has been, not really that too convincing to us just yet. And when we look at Zion Williamson and New Orleans Pelicans, they face off against Chicago Bulls, where Chicago actually do a fantastic job because Chicago Bulls do actually come in a position where they actually faced off against them on the November 25th, and he only got one rebound in that matchup. So we are expecting, a similar sort of situation, similar sort of outcome coming into this game for sure, and we definitely do like the under for it. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for someone like Zion Williamson coming into this game. See a lot of value there to go on the under, especially, when it comes to this line. So Zion Williamson, 5.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, when we getting into the next pick, we're actually going to be talking about Rui Hachimura. So Rui Hachimura, great player. Now, some of these picks may have some overlap in a sense of their games, but we do like to pick the ones that have, the best chance of hitting. And this one is a great one for Rui Hachimura, 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Rui, we actually have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, which is interesting to see. We did see on December 2nd, faced off against Phoenix Suns, had 1 PRA there. Then December 5th, faced off against Toronto Raptors, actually had 15 PRA there. Then December 6th, faced off against Boston, actually had a 20 PRA. Then December 8th, faced off against Philadelphia 76ers, had a 24 PRA, or points, rebounds, and assists. And then 10 points, rebounds, and assists against San Antonio Spurs on December 11th. So it definitely has been interesting for Rui Hachimura. Now, coming into this matchup, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, as we do know, because Los Angeles Lakers and Rui Hachimura face off against the Phoenix Suns. Now, we have touched on this briefly, but just to quickly remind you all again, between these lineups, we do actually see Los Angeles Lakers do come in when it comes to the Western Conference. They do come in at the 5th spot in the actual Western Conference. Now, they have a record of 17 wins and 7 losses, which is interesting to see. Now, on top of that, we also do know when it comes to that, they have a 70.8% win percentage there, 7-4 from home, 10-3 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So, very interesting to see. Now, when we actually look at this, we do also know that when it comes to the matchup against the Suns have definitely been creeping up a little bit, because they currently rank 7th in the Western Conference, and they have a record of 14 wins and 11 losses. That's a 56% win percentage there, 8-4 from home, 6-7 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So very interesting to see there. Looking at both of these teams, I would say somewhat, very close in ranking, but still a little bit of difference there. But looking at Phoenix Suns and where they do rank defensively, we do know that they rank 9th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, when we look at assists allowed, we see that the Phoenix Suns also rank 12th. And then rebounds allowed, we see that the Phoenix Suns rank 8th. So Phoenix have actually done a very good job at restricting, points, rebounds, and assists. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do like the under for it. Phoenix have been a great defensive team, and on top of that, they also do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the power forward position. Now, Rui tends to play that power forward position at most times. Sometimes he does get switched onto the small forward or even sometimes center, but mainly he does play that forward. And because of that, Phoenix, we are expecting them to put a lot of that pressure on him and to try to restrict him as much as they can. Now, Phoenix defense is definitely, very solid. And on top of that, we also just have seen them do a fantastic job at restricting Rui Hachimura in the past. We did actually see them face off against each other, as we mentioned, on December 2nd against the Phoenix Suns, had a 1 PRA there, so 1 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, that was definitely a very interesting game because we did actually see when it came to Rui Hachimura, we do actually see that they face off, or they faced off against each other, and Phoenix definitely had a lot of the great game plan to be able to stop him. And we are expecting that similar sort of game plan coming into this next game. We don't really see it changing. We are expecting Phoenix to really come out, play some hard defense, because that's what they have done time and time again, against, other teams, but also what they have also done against Rui Hachimura as well. So coming into this next one, it is definitely going to be an exciting one. But when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. Now, looking at Rui Hachimura, his average over the last 5 is 14, and he definitely has struggled over the last 5 games. So that's just another telltale sign to us on why we do like the under for this. Now, when we look at Lakers, they are a fast-paced team, as we probably all know, but what we actually see when it comes to Rui and also the Los Angeles Lakers, they do face off against a Phoenix Suns team that do like to slow the pace down quite a lot. Phoenix have been known to slow the pace down as much as they can, and because of that, we are expecting that to have a huge effect on a team like Los Angeles Lakers, and especially have that a huge effect on Rui Hachimura, as Rui doesn't really have the highest usage rate, out of all players in the LA Lakers team. Rui does play more of that supporting type role, and if anyone's going to have their usage rate cut, unfortunately, Rui is definitely going to be one of those, main players to have their usage rate cut, and to have other bigger players kind of step up and do a lot more of the heavy lifting. So coming into this matchup, do very much like the under for it. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one. Rui Hachimura, 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Zion Williamson. So Zion Williamson, great player, as we all know. Now this one is a fantastic one for actually 5.5 rebounds, and this one actually is for less. Now looking at Zion Williamson, we actually have gone on the under in actually he has actually gone on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now looking at those 5 games, you've seen November 20th faced off against Denver Nuggets, had 6 rebounds there. November 22nd faced off against Dallas, had 3 rebounds in that matchup. November 25th faced off against Chicago, had 1 rebound there. Then November 27th faced off against Memphis Grizzlies, had 5 rebounds in that matchup. Then November 30th faced off against the Golden State Warriors and had 7 rebounds there. So it has definitely been pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at that, we have seen Zion Williamson, go on the under, as we've mentioned, in 3 out of the last 5, but his average over the last 5 is also 4.4. Now, looking at New Orleans Pelicans and also their matchup, the Pelicans do have themselves a very good matchup against the Chicago Bulls. So looking at where both these teams do lie, starting off with Pelicans do come in at the 15th spot in the actual Western Conference. They have a record of 4 wins, 22 losses. That's a 15.4% win percentage there. And on top of that, they are also 3-12 from home, 1-10 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So it's definitely been a very tough season for Zion Williamson and New Orleans Pelicans, and they face off against the Chicago Bulls team, who are doing a little bit better. But Chicago still come in at the 11th spot in the Eastern Conference, and they have a record of actually 10 wins and 14 losses. That's a 41.7% win percentage there, 6-5 from home, 4-9 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So looking at that, it has definitely been pretty interesting to see. Both of these teams have struggled just a little bit, but when we actually look at the matchup more closely and look at where Chicago Bulls do rank defensively, we do see that Chicago Bulls do come in when it comes to rebounds allowed. They actually rank 25th. So when we look at that, we have seen definitely Zion Williamson, do a pretty poor job over the last couple of games, and they face off against the Chicago Bulls team, who don't really do too well when it comes to restricting rebounds to teams. But we actually do see that when it comes to actually Chicago Bulls, they do a fantastic job at restricting rebounds to the forward position. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one for someone like Zion. Now, when it comes to Zion as well, on him as an individual player, we do also, or have seen him really struggle at getting rebounds as of lately. He has had some games where he's gone on the over, but it hasn't really been that convincing enough to us, and it has been against much easier teams for sure. When we look at a most recent matchup on November 25th, we actually saw them face off against Chicago Bulls, and we actually saw him have 1 rebound in that matchup. So very, very interesting to see, but obviously looking at Zion Williamson and also the New Orleans Pelicans, we do also know when it comes to them and Chicago Bulls, we do know that they have faced off against each other in the past. He didn't really do a great job rebounding, and he definitely struggled, and that's definitely due to the fact that Chicago have done it time and time again, where they've done a great job at restricting rebounds to the forward position. So we are expecting a similar sort of outcome coming into this next one for sure. Zion has definitely struggled just a little bit, and when we look at also what the bookies are saying, bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So all signs really do point towards the under for this one for someone like Zion Williamson. So definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one for someone like Zion. So Zion Williamson, 5.5 rebounds for less, I think is a fantastic pick. I also did want to mention a quick Goblin pick that I think is really good, and that is Michael Porter Jr. for 19.5 points. Now this one's a quick Goblin one, and obviously this doesn't really need no explanation. Michael Porter Jr. definitely shoots the ball, no pass Michael Porter Jr. as they like to call him, but his volume in shooting has definitely been there, and we definitely just see him going on the over. So I don't really think I need to do analysis on this one, but I thought I'd just chuck this in there and talk about a quick bonus pick.